Welcome! Today we're going to learn how to make a fire in a stove. So the first thing you want to do is clean out your stove. This down. We got to talk about Tinder and kindling. Alright, so tinder is really fine, small pieces of wood. The tinder is actually even better, is dryer lint. Just a little bit of that. And line that out in front of my charcoal. So lining that out, that's this charcoal. Moving that charcoal on the bottom, and then my dryer lint or tinder on the front. Now, if you don't have any dryer lint, you can use any kind of tinder that's, something that's really dried out things that will help catch fire really quickly. Kind of line that on the bottom with the charcoal. Alright. Having a good hatchet around. And we're making some kindling now. If you're in the forest, it's good to get branches that are still up on the trees but are dead. But splitting this up, making it smaller. Okay. So now that I've got all these little pieces, and then all these little pieces are going to grow into these bigger pieces. So now I've got my tinder, and on top of that we're going to put our kindling. I like to use the layers method. I put one down here, and little tiny thin pieces go on the bottom, and then you put them side by side. I always like to say that these little guys need a buddy. They need to keep each other warm. And just line that out. And I know this seems tedious. It seems like you're wasting a lot of time. But the more time and care and energy you put into this, the faster your fire will light. And when your fire lights quickly, you don't have to worry about it. So now I'm lining this up, and I'm making these go further back. The longer ones are going to go back underneath. And as they go back underneath, guess what goes on top of that? Well, we got some thicker pieces of wood. So the thicker pieces of wood add to the fire. And then you just start small and work your way up. Fire likes to rise, right? Once you get kindling that's getting nice and thick, then you can start putting your thicker logs on top. If you don't have a buddy, these logs they'll burn, but they won't burn very well, and they won't burn, your fire won't last as long. Do your preparation up front, everything up front. Don't just take a match and start throwing stuff in there and lighting it. If you set things up properly and understand how a stove works, it will take just like that. Next thing we need to understand about a fireplace or a stove, fireplace in general, of course, we've got the flue, and I'm going to open that up, of course, and then this is another thing. Open that up when the stove is closed, and then the air will go in here, and it's like having a leaf blower just blowing right on all that stuff, and it'll light it right up. But it will not happen until you have a hot flue. But you get you a good piece of dryer lint, and I stick that in the back and the top. So it's got a heat, heat rises. So we want to heat up the stove right here. We want that heat going up. We've got everything ready. My dryer lint at the top. I'll give that a start. And that's a burning. Now that that's a burning, we'll shut her down. And here we go. And now my fire's getting here. There we go. So notice how it's pulling the fire inside. And have you ever heard of a roaring fire? Once I get a good draw, this baby will start roaring. But keeping the door closed and helping that draw, you can see the smoke going inside. You don't want the smoke coming out. If you've got heat back there, that'll work. The tinder's caught there. Now the kindling's catching. A lot of times I'll do it to this point and walk out, because I know I'm good. You set up your preparation first, and everything else takes care of itself. You start to hear the roar. Now we have fire. You can hear the life. It smells good too. Ha! Yeah, feeling good. And look at that! So, just to recap, make sure you have your tinder on the bottom. Make sure there's room for it to breathe. So after the tinder, then you build a little cabin or a little teepee or something out of kindling. Smaller sticks like so. And then on top of that, you build bigger, thicker sets of kindling. And then on top of that, you have thicker logs. And then you can put your major logs on top of that. And that is how you build a good fire to keep your house warm, to keep your bodies not feeling the cold outside. Thanks for watching.